All right, guys, welcome to Heroically Inclined, finally named. Um, Ivory Order Session 8. The plan is to do the heist. We've talked about this a few times now. Hasuad, one of Flit's contacts, who sadly, Flit's player, is having internet issues and probably will not be able to join us. But he has asked them to go and reclaim this item. The other option that they have, and perhaps maybe we'll pursue quickly, is to track down well blades and ask them a little bit more information about where the sword that he made came from. If they can track down like the shipment lot or whatever they can do to figure out any more information as to why that ended up on Valermont soil on a hobgoblin's hip. So they find themselves in a warehouse. It is morning. They've woken up. They've acquired some new possessions, a new bow that I think Zero is probably claimed at this point. If he's ever appeared. He ended last one invisible. But yeah, it's still kind of given the hospitality while Sapphire had set about doing some of the work around this warehouse, a safe house where they brought the group of Valermont sailors that were captured by the enemies here in Desland. So that's basically where we left off. They got their rewards and they were there. So far, Hrothgar, Travis's character, has not been with them since they even got on this island. But luckily, we're going to have Travis back. So we're going to start with Chad in the warehouse with currently Salnitro, Flit, and what's the other ones? I'm sorry, I'm spacing on the sorcerer. I'm an awful person. Anyways, it'll probably hit me later on in the game, and I don't know why. Lucas, there we go. All in the warehouse. So as you guys are relaxing, the four of you kind of taking some time to recoup after the battles, the fireballs, the prison escape, and as you guys are there hanging out, a soldier, you can tell just by the demeanor that he's fairly well trained, at least experienced, though he is wearing like plain clothes with like studded leather armor on, a shield strapped to his back, a decent but nothing like extravagant longsword strapped to his hip. He's got blonde hair that's kind of like pulled back into a ponytail, rushes into the warehouse and goes over to Sapphire, and he bends down and like starts whispering in his ear, and Sapphire looks up, glances around, looks around and calls over to the group. I believe there might be something that I'd like you guys to see. Apparently, the Duke that is currently running our lands is giving a little speech. Duke Kelvis Chevalier, the regent, while the prince is yet to be coronated. He's giving a speech about what happened, or he's planning on it. They're gathering people at the foot of the palace hill. It might be enlightening. I definitely want to hear what he has to say. Why don't you come along?
I missed the part. Are we assuming Hrothgar has rejoined, or are we going to do that in a little bit?
The plan is, I think I'm going to have him be there in the square.
Gotcha,
where they're
gotcha.
giving the speech, and you will recognize some of your compatriots.
Locked in. Sorry, I must have glazed over that detail.
No problem. I kind of brushed in. I was not expecting to be running so shorthanded, so I think I'm running a little lightheaded. So he will lead Zero, Salnitro, Lucas, and Flit all through the streets with a couple of his other guards. He's got his hood up, his big black hat he left behind because it's pretty ostentatious and obvious. So he is leading them through the streets, and they come out through the streets into a opening area that's like a large square, that then there's like a metal gate area that has a hill and like a palace that's built up onto the hill. White, like marble looking stone, various statues of heroes and such like placed along the perimeter of this this iron fencing. Soldiers have gathered around, all with the kind of the blue revelry of Desland. And as of yet, there's like a stage that's been kind of erected there in the front of the square by the gates of the palace. But as of yet, no one has come down. But there are a bunch of people there already gathered. Peasants mostly, but there are definitely some well-dressed individuals that are gathering closer to the fences, closer to the guards themselves, where some of the peasants are keeping their distance, not wanting to be too close to the guards, but it's kind of like slowly filling up. And Sapphire will kind of inch in just a little bit, not too far away from the like alleyway you guys emerged from, but just enough that he can get a good view. And about that time, one of you, we'll go with Zero, he's got a great perception, will spot Hrothgar milling about in a group not too far away. Hrothgar, you would have been sent to the island to join up with your compatriots, but having just arrived, you had not yet been able to make contact. And due to their kind of like the speed of this, they hadn't checked their little magical notebook to know that you're there. But you're not exactly a inconspicuous fellow if you don't particularly want to be.
Absolutely not. I'm actually getting in an argument of this too tall human is standing in my way. Get out of my way, I'm trying to walk right through here.
Stay in the back, you little one.
You won't be so tall once I take those legs off you.
Should have gotten here sooner. You'll be able to hear. Not my fault you can't see.
Yeah, take care of this. So he kind of grumbles to himself, and his little owl companion flies off of his shoulder to get a bird's eye view. And at this moment, he sees who's here. Zero and everyone else.
Do we have a does he have the ring as well?
Yeah, everyone has a ring.
So
Don't
I probably
necessarily have it displayed. Usually you would have that hidden somewhere on your body, unless you were expecting that there's a risk of whatever you're doing getting back, and
He pulls a component pouch that's around his neck, fumbles in it a little bit, and slyly showing you inside the pouch, flashes the ring for those companions that he does not immediately recognize.
Zero will pull out the chain that's on around his neck that's underneath his bit of cloak. It's been a while.
Yeah, I had some family business to take care of, but nothing too serious. Back on the job, as they say.
Good to hear. Hope it's all right.
And about this time, you hear drums start like beating. It's kind of like short, quick beat to kind of gather everyone's attention. And you can see there's an older gentleman, probably in his late 40s, human, walking down the pathway from the palace with two guards in like the blue, but with like white armor on. They look like they have like better equipment, better trained, obviously more of like personal guards for him. And they lead him down and open the gate, and he walks up upon the stage, and you see a little like gnome lady kind of scurry up, kind of up near him, but stays behind him and starts gesturing. And as he starts to speak, he can be heard throughout the entire courtyard with ease, as if his voice is being amplified. He looks about the crowd. It is a sad day here for Desland entirely. It's come to my knowledge that members of Valermont forces have landed upon our island. They have freed prisoners, criminals who seek to the criminals that have damaged your property, who have murdered your brothers, your sisters. They've freed them, I'm assuming, in an attempt to cause more trouble here. We've located one of their ships. We're not sure exactly where their soldiers that did this are, but they're among you. We're looking for them. Any help would be appreciated, but this is very disturbing. I try so hard to keep this country in good standing and keep us out of conflict, but it seems that those Valermont warmongers are seeking to cause this war. If that is the case, we will show them we are not to be pushed around. Sadly,
It is troubled times.
sadly, we're also found that the prince has gone missing. He was off on a vacation. He was have some sporting on one of our nearby islands, and he has disappeared. His guards cannot find him. We're worried that those criminals over at Valermont have done such things. But I will bring stability, and in my stead, we will have peace. We will have better conditions. I have heard many gripe about the recent policies, and I will work hard to undo any damage that an inexperienced prince may have caused. Keep posted. We will give information, but if you have any clue as to where these soldiers may have gone, or who they are in contact with, or any of the rebels that are more than likely aiding them, please go to the local constabler's office. And they will help take your information and help see to these vile criminals being taken down and removed from our society to cause no more harm. And he'll kind of put his hand up and wave, "Thank you, and may the gods protect us all." And he turns and starts walking back up the hill. To this, you can tell that Sapphire does not look happy. He looks disturbed and perplexed, and starts to like turn angrily away from the stage, facing you guys. If that man could lie anymore, it'd be amazing.
And no talk of ransom. You think that'd be the first thing that the thieves would be calling for?
Perhaps he just wishes to shake things up. Not a single thing he said was true.
You're claiming he has his own son packed away somewhere.
Oh, well, he's not the. You're not from around here, so I apologize. He is the brother of the dead king, the regent, while the prince is being raised to age. In fact, he should have been taking the crown sometime around this point.
I misspoke then. You'll have to excuse me. As you spoke, I'm not as familiar with the political comings and goings of this island.
Oh, it's okay. The Duke doesn't see to most of those political comings and goings being properly translated outside of his court, as you can tell. It was obviously not the sailors that your friends just rescued that freed prisoners. They were prisoners that were freed. And the prince, I'm pretty positive he was not on some faraway island.
Are they still from the same jail though?
That's he was basically talking of you guys and what you just did, but spinning it to a different end. More trying to put blame directly on your country, even though it was kind of you guys freeing him, but it wasn't your ship they found, and it wasn't you guys that he was really blaming. He was blaming the sailors that he had in custody, in which he still has perhaps a couple of them somewhere else. About the same time, as you guys are he starts walking away, and he stops and looks, and he kind of rushes over to a fairly tall human figure that's he's got like a cloak that is trying to think of the colors at it. It's black with like gold trim on it. He's got a big helm. He's got a helm on with like a big horse mane look kind of going down the top of his helm. A large shield strapped across his back, almost like a backpack sort of thing, and a big, well-made spear with a black haft, like well-polished silver blade with gold like trim and inlay in it. And he turns them and looks at him, and then they embrace, and you can see them like speak quickly amongst each other. Then he gestures and brings them back over to the group. Well, at least there's something good about today. This is my good friend, Captain Creon. Well, we grew up on the island. Well, he doesn't live on the island, but he came to visit many a times. And it's great to see him. But let's go back. Let's go back to the warehouse and maybe get you on your way. Having Creon here might be nice. He may help. If you guys needed a guide, I could send him along, since they don't know him, but he knows the island pretty well. The new armored figure will kind of look over at you guys and nod his head. Well met. Any friend of... he pauses. Sapphire is a friend of mine.
Agreed.
I mean, friend's a strong word, but allies at least.
Allies a start, I guess. Friends may come. We'll see. And Sapphire will lead you guys back to the warehouse.
Probably best to get out of public, anyways.
Mhm. Once there, him and Creon kind of go off to the side for a little bit and talk a little bit more. Then they both return. Sapphire will look over. So, you guys had things you had to do, and I don't wish to take up too much of your time. However, I did need a little help. I know Salnitro and his particular expertise would be of great use, but a couple other hands would be nice, just for the day or so. But I can send Creon with you, Zero and Hrothgar. Was it? I can send him with you guys to run about whatever errands you have. He knows this island pretty well for a foreigner.
You're offering us company?
I'm sure it'd be fine. It'd be nice to get the lay of the land.
All right. Well, where are you guys headed to first?
Just remember Salga's a little cranky. Just remember. Well, I think Hrothgar was there for the hobgoblin.
Mm-hmm.
So he
Aye.
might have more personal connection to that than the debt at least the debt I owe to Hasuad.
Yeah, have we still have that sword, right, that we haven't fully
Yeah.
identified yet.
Yeah. One of you, whoever decides to have had it at this particular moment in time, has it. It might have probably been on Salnicho, but if you guys are going, he would gladly hand it over. And let, probably Hrothgar, because I know he was more forge inclined.
It's something that's been itching my craw, as they say, for some time. I wouldn't mind getting some answers on it.
All right. Well, yes, perfect. Then I will see. I will send Creon with you to go and lead you on. All right. Let me put up my screen again. All right. So now I have a trusty little map. So you guys are in the capital, Marseilles. And Charville will be the first stop. That's the home of Blades. And it's not super far away. I mean, it's... get off that screen. It is probably a good, quarter of a day. It's still before noon. And in fact, if you guys wanted to take horses or whatever, there are places as you leave the city, there are stables that are there to rent horses for people to travel to other towns, if they needed to rush around. But I will leave some of those details up to you.
Yeah, as much as I like walking, it probably be prudent for us to speed this up as much as we can. I can handle getting us some horses, or in my case, a pony, and I'll handle wrangling those up for us for the trip.
All right. You're able to kind of scurry over and deal with a halfling gentleman who's manning the desk at this horse rental place. And for a day's rent of the horses, he's willing to let you guys take them for 2 gold.
I don't even try to talk him down. That's fair enough.
Yeah. So once the horses are gathered, or your pony, or whatever, general, easily to obtain steed.
A stout pony.
Yeah, something strong, like a workhorse sort of thing, but short enough that you're not having to jump and get all crazy with it. Creon would take you guys and lead you off. Kind of, there's a path though. It's not super tough. Like there's a dirt road that goes out of Marseille and signs that kind of point you to Charville, and he'll start riding out in that direction. I know of Wellblades and Wellendar. Fair enough. Good man. Makes great weapons. Forgot to do that in more of a gruff voice. Well,
Do you have any idea how his weapons could have fell into the hands of a goblinoid?
well, I wasn't fully aware of what was going on. I mean, he does not sell outside. Well, I mean, he sells to the proper people, I guess I should say. Very selective. But if someone powerful enough or wealthy enough purchased it for goblins, then he wouldn't have known the destination. It's probably...
Yeah, true enough. I'm not making any accusations. It's just it's peculiar for something of such fine craftsmanship to be in such foul hands.
Aye, yes, well, that's true. Obviously, it was something gifted to them. Well,
You haven't been robbed at all, have you?
sorry, what was that, Chad?
You haven't been robbed at all, have you?
I haven't been robbed, but, hobgoblins could have. That is a possibility. However, someone carrying that blade would have been trained, so if they were to rob him, they took it at a very dear price. These goblins and hobgoblins, how do they come about? Like, from what Sapphire says, you guys are from quite a bit distance away, so it's not like they would have easily traveled there.
That's what's the most peculiar of the situation. Is I guess we just have some questions if he has anything specific on the mark that we could track, like where this blade was sold. I guess those are the questions we have.
Yeah, well, I'm not familiar with his practices, but I know that he is a great craftsman. Those that work for him are very talented too. So I wouldn't be surprised if they can give you somewhere to at least ask. And, the quarter of a day or so it takes you to ride over to Charville goes by pretty smoothly. Like I said, the roads are fairly well marked out. It goes from like some kind of farm grasslands around the main city and works into area forested, but it is well cleared from the road, not too overgrown. It seems like people travel this way, and they maybe even have someone who comes and clears the pathway of any fallen trees or any debris that's close enough to the road that may cause future problems. And you come upon a fairly quaint little village. There's a lot of farmland in the area. You can see some carts though being hauled in, coming in. You come in from the east, but it's smaller of a town. So as you're coming down this main road, you can see carts coming in from the north that look like they're loaded with raw material. There's rocks or ore stacked up in the back of a couple carts. Another one that probably follows you in is some wood from the forests coming in. And as you guys go through the village, led by Creon, he leads you closer to the cliffs. And next to the cliffs, there's this area set back about 50 feet but there's no other buildings between it and the cliffs, and you can see the smoke. And you smell the heat, the metal that's been being turned into ingots and then turned into blades, and you can hear the ringing of blades. It's a little bit set more to the west of the town, a little bit away from the rest of the village. Obviously, set aside so that the noise and the smoke and all the minerals and stuff that are going about are not bothering the local villagers. And Creon will point with his spear as he kind of rides up, holding the reins in one hand and pointing out with the other. There we have it. It's well blades. And you'll see, like, on a sign that, like, stylized, like, WB, I think it was, with, like, a sword through it, or W with a sword through it, that is known for well blades. Like, the same one that you saw on the sword that eventually led you here.
That certainly seems to be the place.
Yeah, coming up to the edge there, like by the fence, we'll have Creon will kind of dismount and tie his horse up to the fence. Wait for you guys to get ready, and then kind of gesture for you guys to take the lead from that point. I'll tag along, but this is your show.
Is this a very large shop? Like, are there a lot, or I'm not shop? What's the word? Blacksmith or forge?
Yeah. So it is a decent size, probably larger than you would have necessarily expected to, when you're thinking of like a forge. It's not like a little town forge. It's more of like almost like a factory setup. It's large enough that you can see there's actually, now that you're kind of in this courtyard, there's probably like 4 different billows of smoke coming up from different parts of this large complex. Some of the buildings are actually like set aside from each other. So the first one you come upon that has the symbol on it has, like, it does not have any smoke coming from it. And it is very nicely kept up front. Like, you can tell as you get closer, like, it has wooden boards and like a little patio out in front of it that's been well swept. A door with like glass built into it with like their symbol inlaid, like etched in the glass there. You can see a couple other buildings off back into the sides of it that have smoke coming out of it. They're like long, skinny buildings, kind of like long houses, that you can hear like the ringing of hammers on anvils, hammers on blades.
But there seems to be a fairly obvious front or storefront that we could start with.
Yeah.
What it seems like.
Yeah, so as you came up to the fence and you tie up, so it's like a wooden fence, like unpainted, but it's been like lacquered or like polished so that the wood doesn't get, too weather beaten. And the path leads you directly up to this front where this glass door is with the symbol etched on it, the banner for well blades like hanging from the roof. So, which definitely looks like a very obvious like store opening.
All right, yeah. So I would try to get in and see if there's anyone to talk to at the front when we get to go through the door.
Yes, you'll walk in and there's a half-elven lady sitting behind the counter, and she has like a smith apron on, but it doesn't have like any like soot or anything on there. Below that, though, is like a very simple white blouse and like brown skirt on. She's got like a reddish hair. It's not like super bright red. It's like a I don't know, like a brown. I guess it was brown almost, but like you can see the tint red in her hair, and her ears come to a small little point back there. And she smiles as the door opens. She says, "Oh, welcome, welcome. Come on in. Welcome to Well Blades. What can I get for you, fine gentlemen?"
Well, we actually have a sword that was made here that we would like to see if there's any way we can trace its journey, so to speak.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, we're very private with our customers. We don't like to give out their information. And then she sees as Creon steps in, and she looks, and her eyes squint. She rushes over. "Creon, is that you?" And she like jumps like up and gives him a hug, and he chuckles and kind of like spins around. So good to see you, young lady. Is your father in? Perhaps I'm sure he could help. These gentlemen are good friends of a friend of mine, and he would like them to be aided in their quest here. She looks at him and then looks back at you. "Oh, well, I'll leave it up to my dad then. Yeah, come this way." And she leads you, points like to the back. There's like a back door of this place. While you're in here, though, you do see like there are like rows and rows of blades, finely made swords, some spears, shields, armor, mostly like martial, not so many of like ranged weapons sort of things. Like there's not crossbows or things like that. There's battle axes and daggers and pretty much, a little assortment of pretty much everything, and then different styles of like different dagger styles, lengths of blades, hilts, all these things laid out. She'll lead you past those and guide you out the back door, and then she'll lead you through. So now that you're through this back door, you're like in a courtyard. There's these two long houses that are set up on either side. And then there's another one that you can kind of see in the distance that was built, and it looks like it was more recently built. That structure is a little bit like newer, a little bit more modern, probably even a little bit larger. That's got a smokestack coming from it. But she leads you towards what looks like a house, and it's like a white house with a red like tile roof. But like the wood on the roof, like where it reaches the roof, it's got like pillars and like for the overhang and patio, it's like scrolled, very like stylized. There are leaves like carved into the wood in places. And she leads you in, pushing the door open. Dad, are you home? Are you in? Where are you? And then in the back, you'll hear, back in the forge, come. She leads you through the house. It's very simple, but like everything's nice. Like, comfortable looking chairs, nice table. Everything's kind of like attention to detail. And she leads you in to a small forge. It's not big. There is a man that you will see back there as you enter, an elven gentleman with scars across his face. His hair's cut short on the sides. It was all dark hair at once, but now you can see that it's been being touched by silver in places. Gold earring in his ear. Simple like leather armor on, and then he's got like a leather like forge like apron on above that. You can see that he kind of hobbles around a little bit as one of his legs was like chopped off like right about the knee spot. And even his arms, like what he's got gloves on, but his sleeves are rolled up a little bit, and you can see there's like scarring and like burn marks across his arms. And he looks over and smiles at her, and then looks at you. So what do we have here, dear? And she gestures towards Creon. He says, our friend here brought them. They have questions about some blade that we sold, I guess. They want to have some information. I figured best to leave it up to you, only because Creon's here. And he says a friend of ours, encouraged us to help them. Oh, well, any friend of Creon, or ally, or whatever.
Well met. Name's Hrothgar. This is my companion Zero, and well, some other people here with us. But I appreciate the time you're giving us. We have a question on the perhaps the provenance of this fine blade that, from my understanding, was forged here. It's ended up on a distant island in the hands of a marauding band of hobgoblins, and we mean no accusation here, but we're just trying to make sense of the situation. Any information you could give to us about this blade will help us greatly.
He walks over, and as he reaches out and takes the blade, like his daughter, you can kind of see she'll scurry back out towards the shop, making her way free in order to keep an eye on what she needs to. And he glances over the blade. Well, yes. I mean, this has my mark. It's our blade. Where'd you say you found it?
Oh, you know. And Hrothgar opens his mouth, and the name of the island.
Oh, Valermont.
Valermont. We were on a mission in Valermont, and found it in the possession of a mighty hobgoblin who was desecrating a temple, to tell you the truth of the matter. And it was we haven't had a lot to go on of why they were there, and we're grasping at straws, as they say.
Well, all right, definitely. And he walks over, and he kind of walks to this table that he has up against the wall, and you can see there's this very finely crafted like rapier that's set inside like a glass. There's a glass case covering it up, and he brings a sword and lays it down like in front of that, and then he pulls out a book and he starts flipping through it, and he takes the sword and he twists it a few times and looks over and he says, one of Bella's creations, okay. And he pulls out a different book and flops it open and flips a few. And all right, if I am not incorrect, this was forged by one of my master forgers that works for me, Bella Dulaine. And she tends to handle more the general sale weapons, like large bulk for, lords and such of our country here. So that does hopefully narrow it down a little bit. Let me see. This one. And he scans through the names and he pauses and taps one. This one right here, Lord Marley. Out of all the names I saw here, he's the most likely, as he's the least likely to have actually had the money to purchase such an order.
This is something you would not sell to a hobgoblin, correct?
Oh, no. No. I have come to the point in my life where I can be very selective with who I allow to use my blades. I learned long ago that a blade, no matter how finely or purposefully crafted, can do much harm, and I've no longer wished such evil upon my conscience. So, if Hobgoblin came to us, we would not have sold him. Now, if a lord, especially one that is newly the harbor master of Marseille Harbor, well, then in that case, we'd sell it to him, no matter whether we liked him or not. It's one of those things. If he's appointed by the prince to ruin the harbor, then he must have been okay. But now that I see her marks here, it does make me question how he afforded such a large shipment so early in his appointment.
So there are more questions, even for you.
Yes.
That gives us something to follow up with, at least.
Yes. Well, let me think. He seems to be. He was a nobody. I mean, no offense meant or anything, but as far as our nobility goes, we've had a pretty stable succession, pretty stable power levels. All of a sudden, he got appointed a very reputable spot. Just about a year ago or so. Very ambitious young fellow. And I don't know. I mean, why would he even sell it to someone, and how would that get off the island? I'm not sure, but yeah, that would be where I'd start anyways.
I appreciate your time.
No,
It's
anytime.
been very helpful, thank you.
I hope to come back here again as a patron when my time can afford it.
Well, we have general weapons if there's anything you need, and the things I do tend to be a little bit more specialized. And it will kind of tap on that glass case that has that rapier in it. Unfortunately, I still wait for someone to pick this one up.
I'll take a closer look at it before leaving.
That's beautiful craftsmanship. The go to waste in my rough hands. I'd nary a guess.
Well, you have a pretty fine weapon there yourself. Does not look like it was dwarven wrought. A kind of gesture at your kind of floral hammer that's hanging from your hips.
Yeah, it's a weird one. This I know not its maker, but it has some interesting dormers upon it. Can't say I'm not impressed. It's quite a fine find.
Well, those aren't easily come by, and ones with such history. It looks like. I don't know the owner or the maker prior, probably even before my time. But yeah. So Zero, as you look at the blade, you see it's very well polished silver rapier. On it has a lot of blue stones embedded upon the guard, and then the bottom of the pommel there, or bottom of the hilt. It definitely looks like it was created for very high nobility or royalty, or somewhat of great esteem, fine craftsmanship. Even almost maybe has a little shimmer on it, as you look over it, there may be some magical properties to it.
He like palpitates it, looking at it.
Yes. This one's meant for our prince, if he ever returns to take his throne. Is there anything else I can do for you, gentlemen? Or anywhere else I can point you towards?
I believe my business here is done.
All right.
You have been more than helpful.
My pleasure. Hopefully I will see you guys again and could purchase a weapon or order something of your desire.
That would be nice. We will let you get back to your work for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the other essentially our guide here. I'd want to ask him. So this Lord Marley, was that the one speaking down in the square when I first came ashore?
Oh no. That was Duke Kelvis Chevalier, the prince's uncle, was speaking.
Okay, tell me about this Marley.
Marley. Oh, little shit. Yeah, he's always had ambition, but never was able to stand up for himself. Like, he always one of those that attached on to someone stronger, someone who could back him up if he overstepped his means. Little pale thing with dark hair and sharp little pointed goatee on there. I never cared for the one, but I'm a soldier, so I don't take too kindly to the nobles.
I can understand the sentiment. Is there an easy place to catch this Lord's ear? A place that perhaps we can have a face-to-face?
Oh, well, if he has indeed been named the dockmaster, I'd say we could head to the docks down in Marseille. He would have to be somewhere nearby there, unless he's got someone else running that for him. But
unless anyone else has anything pressing to do, I'd like to go to Marseille and speak to this Marley.
I'm with you.
It's not until I put them together that I find these two names I made have been very similar.
They're spelled very differently, though.
They are. They're spelled differently, but I was like, oh man, it's like I just rearranged some letters. I added in a few more, not on purpose. So yeah, Creon would lead you back to the main city.
I got to step away for just 1 minute. I'll be back real quick.
No problem. Actually, why don't we go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll be right back, and we'll continue on and see where this takes us.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. We be back. Yeah, Travis is kind of cam now. All right.
In bed and not running around in the background anymore.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So, you guys head back. Assume you return your horses on your way in. And then Creon will lead you down to the docks. Pretty bustling area. Zero probably can notice that their ship, the something Mary, I want to say, Freedom Mary, I believe is what it was, off to the side, still docked up on one of the docks. But Creon will kind of lead you to a large, like official-looking building. Large. I don't know necessarily large is the right word, but it's like a very solid stone building. There's
Sturdy.
Yeah, sturdy. Two-story building. So there definitely seems to be, there's like drapes and stuff that are pulled up in the top part. And he brings you up to the door, and here you are, lads. It's pretty easy. If he's here, he's in there. If not, we could probably track him down. Sapphire would probably know where his residents are if we had to go that far.
Very good. We'll start with here. Appreciate your help.
Anytime. I'll stay outside. Make sure you have some privacy. Holler if you need me.
Will do.
And he kind of posts up. He takes his shield off his back and straps it onto one arm and grips his spear tightly. He stands next to the doorway.
All right. I'll try the door or knock if need be.
Yeah, I mean, it's midday, maybe a little after afternoon now, like afternoon now, not after afternoon. That'd be evening. Probably like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So the door will open as you turn the knob.
All right. What do we see inside?
So you push it open, and it's got a decent like interior. There's like a couple of couches that are like laid out by a fireplace. There's no fire on right now. It's the morning mist and chill is kind of burned away, but there's 2 couches that are arrayed like kind of V in front of the fireplace with like a little coffee table in front of that. There's a large desk. Like if you enter the door kind of forward and to the left just slightly, there's like a large desk there, and there's a man behind it that's kind of like looking over ledgers. He's got a quill in his hand, dark hair, like goatee that's been like kind of like oiled and brought to a fine point that comes like 3 inches down from his chin. Like a little tiny like pencil mustache, but it's more like that's about all he can grow. Hair that comes down to about his shoulder. Nice, like fine clothes. They're deep burgundy color with like a kind of puffy white shirt that's kind of sticking out a little bit on the top and on the sleeves. He's kind of like looking over things, and he looks up as the door opens. Yes. What can I do for you? What do you need?
Well, we seek an audience with Lord Marley. Would that be you?
Yes. What is it you need? Need a ship expedited, a set of goods secured properly. What do you need?
Well, metagaming here. I think I'm just gonna be kind of
Yeah, you don't have
forceful with him and see how he responds. And we were wanting to know exactly what your business is with the hobgoblins on Valeria.
And he will. He kind of pauses for a second and goes, "Hobgoblins? I don't know of any hobgoblins that you speak of."
Valermont, of course. That's what I said. Valeria's from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Let's see. May I use my insight to kind of see his reaction?
Of course.
See if I see any tells. Well, that's not what I wanted. Go away. A 13, so 10 on the die. Not that great.
Let me see. Yeah, I'm rolling really good. I mean, he definitely hesitates, but you're not 100% sure whether that was just like surprise of you mentioning this possible rival country, or whether it is he actually had anything to do with it.
Yeah, he seems well trained in masking his emotions.
Yeah.
At least nothing that my eyes can perceive.
Yeah.
It's a we are in possession of a sword that you had commissioned and purchased, and somehow it became in the hands of these hobgoblins on Valermont, and we are making no accusations here, but we're just trying to get at the heart of this matter, so that we can make sure it doesn't happen again. So, any information you have for us of any theft or anything of that matter would be greatly helpful to us.
And he'll listen, nod. Well, Valermont is definitely like things aren't good between us and Valermont right now. So I would have no dealings with anyone upon the island, nor any reason to send any such items there. Perhaps, yeah, maybe it was stolen. That's possible. I don't necessarily keep track of where all my men's swords go, but it is definitely a good possibility it was stolen.
Could I insight check?
Yeah, go for it. Where did you gentlemen say you were from?
The Better Business Bureau.
Yeah, we are merely the hired hands of interested parties to make sure that these such fine weapons don't fall into goblinoid hands again.
Well, I mean, that is a very noble thing, but what do you care if goblins got some weapons onto those vile bastards over at Valermont?
It's the implications of what that can mean, Perhaps they were given them. Then that would be something now, wouldn't it? But most likely it was merely happened chance that brought it about, and our employer just wants to be sure all the loose ends are investigated.
Loose ends? Well, I mean, I can respect that. Like, I've worked with and for other people, of course, and I get wanting to tie up loose ends. I do run the docks. So, but no, I couldn't tell you where it's from. If you guys need anything, though, I'd be happy to help you. maybe expedite your ship's exit fees, or maybe give you a little discount on that, or maybe a little bit of the tariff, postponed, or low interest rates on those.
Have you shown it? Have you shown him the sword, or we're just asking him questions?
No, I don't think I've shown him the sword in particular. I think at this point I'm going to take the sword out. It's on my back, wrapped in leathers. Just display the hilt to him. Perhaps something like this might jog your memory. And as I place it on the table, I'm also going to drop like 10 gold coins, like in a neat little stack next to it. You see, we understand that someone needs to bend the rules sometimes to get ahead in this world. It's we make no judgments of such behavior, but if there is anything in your memory that you could recall of how possibly these particular weapons got on the Isle and in the hands of those goblinoids. Anything at all, yeah, would be greatly helpful to our employer.
Oh, well, now that I see the blade, I am remembering I did purchase a shipment of these from Well Blades, finely crafted, but I could only use a very few for my personal guard. The rest were more for a good friend of mine, Count Varys, Jordan Varys. He is, a good friend that, he asked me, since I was placing an order, of course, to add a little extra. And even as he's speaking, like, you can see, like, his hand goes out and, like, scoops the gold and kind of, like, slides it, like, into the top drawer of his thing. Perhaps he could help you, if you guys really wanted to know.
Spectacular. Is there a great place that we could find him on a day like today? Are you that familiar with his whereabouts?
He rarely takes unannounced or uninvited, I suppose, guests, but he does have an aide that you could find. At this time, let me see. Martine. Oh, yes. He would be over on the floating menagerie. It's about 5 dock spots down that way. The large, ancient-looking galleon that is strapped to the dock permanently there. It's his favorite little haunt. It's a good spot to find him. But the Count has apartments near the palace, and his main estates are actually off island, but he often is here helping out. The poor Duke is so busy that sometimes the Count's aid is definitely appreciated.
All right, I give a look to Zero, like an eyebrow raise that imparts the question: is this good enough? Should we press more? An unspoken gesture.
I think that you have given us all the information that you are willing to today. Well, might take you up on your offers of reduced prices, though.
Yes. Well, such dutiful citizens, I would be remiss not to aid in any way I can. Anything else you guys need, I'd be more than happy to help you.
Well, I'm sure we'll come up with something else he could help us with. We're very
good.
grateful.
Yeah, good. If nothing else, I have some more paperwork to do here. A few ships are about set to leave, and I need to get their paperwork in order.
We would not bother any more of your time. Seems valuable.
Yes, well, thank you. Thank you. Oh, I did one. All right. As you guys exit, you can see Creon there, and there are two like kind of thuggish looking men that are like standing there, like staring at him, waiting. And then as he sees you exit, he'll walk away, and the two rush inside to make sure that Lord Marley is doing fine.
Well, Marley wasn't too happy to give it up, but we got another lead. Some Count Varish. Apparently, his aide likes to gallivant in some galleon down the way, so figured I might as well check it out now.
Oh,
Yes. Hopefully we're not wasting time with leads he has given us, though.
well, depending on the pressure you gave, I can't imagine that guy putting up much of a fight. Never had a spine. Was he talking about the floating menagerie?
He was.
All right.
I would like to give an instruction to my familiar who's just been circling above.
Yeah.
To find a perch near our good friend Marley's here, and just keep an eye out on the coming and going, and to report to me anything interesting he sees.
Okay. Cool. All right. So Creon will begin like leading. It's 5 dock lengths, but they're fairly decent. It's probably like a quarter of a mile of a little walk down there. These are large docks that are set up. So they're huge, like 30, 40 foot pathways each one that then branch out into smaller spots for boats to dock and everything. And but he finally like leads you over and towards the island side, so you don't really have to walk far down this main dock length. You see a large kind of like fat galleon looking ship. Looks like it's multiple decks, and there's no sails upon it. In fact, like the roping's been taken down, and you can see there's like women that are like kind of hanging around on the rails, like leaning over, looking down, and there's a finely dressed gentleman in like purple and golds, like standing at the foot of a gangplank there. And as he sees you guys come closer, he's a tiefling with kind of like this. So it's purple and gold. He's got like this almost like too white of skin, but then with like a black hair and these like little horns that stick up on each side, kind of like a Viking helmet sort of thing would be. He goes, welcome. We've got customers. I see you. You probably need a beautiful lady or boy. I don't discriminate. Whatever you like. We've got it here at the Floating Menagerie. Come on down. And he kind of just like gestures. He's not really worried. He's more of like a face.
Carnival barker.
Yeah.
Then kind of bring you in. Gotcha.
Yeah. Come down. We have all you like, the finest drink, everything you need.
I'm sure we'll have a wonderful time.
I know you will. And if not, tell me and I'll make it right. And as you kind of like walk up this gangplank, Creon's a little bit more hesitant as he kind of hangs back and, like walks up the gangplank, and you can hear like music coming up from the various openings in the deck. Like there's a metal grate that's up there that used to be to unload and load cargo, but you can definitely hear music coming up from there. Where there would have been a door that would lead like into the main cabin and then down to the lower decks is there's no door there right now, so you can hear the music coming out from there. Some of the girls like turn and look at you and kind of like lean against the railing to try to get your attention. Creon will look and says, if you go in the door down the stairs, you'll find the main area. It's probably a good place to look. If you don't mind, I'll stay up here and get some air.
What kind of air are you looking for?
The ones that keep my wife from leaving me.
Understandable.
Very well. I'm sure he'll hear if we run into any trouble.
Oh, yeah. But most of these, they're not going to cause any issues. There's definitely a unspoken word about causing any damage here on the floating menagerie. I may have visited this place when I was younger, but I no longer would like to risk such issues.
I don't know if I've ever seen a dwarven woman.
Oh, I'm sure you could find one.
They'd melt your eyes. With their beauty, of course.
Of course. Have fun, boys.
All right, so what do we see as we enter the...
So you descend a couple of, like, the stairways goes down and then it comes back in. But then you enter and it kind of looks like a tavern. What would have been a hole, and, the curved sides, and there's, the windows there that most of them have drapes that are covering it. But there's someone playing, like, a piano over there, and there's a halfling sitting on top of the piano playing, like, a little lute. There's a large bar that's set up. Gentleman back there, like, serving out drinks. And there's definitely quite a bit of, like, wealth in here. It doesn't seem like the many commoners come in here. There's girls of almost all sort. There's even a few there's definitely different races. There are different, like, sizes. There's, like, very skinny, there's very large, there's whatever your heart's basically content can be. There are also definitely, there's a few, like, what looks like kept boys who are, like, well powdered and just wearing, like, basically like a loincloth over them. Some are chiseled, some are, like, a little bit more bulky but muscular. So a little bit of everything here. There's a cocktail waitress that will come up. A girl, like, in our eyes anyway. She's probably about 17, blonde hair, kind of wearing something, like, tight and, like, showing off what bust she has. Will kind of come over and go, "Oh, welcome. Is this your first trip in? Come, be comfortable. Let me get you a drink. What can we get for you?"
An ale for myself. Zero, will you have something to drink?
I won't let you drink alone, my friend.
All right. Something refined, or are you more of something that will burn your guts from the inside on an ale?
I'll take whatever he's having.
Master Dwarf, what is it you would like?
Hey, got anything dwarven on tap?
Dwarven, yes. Let me go grab them. I'm going to check on my oven because it looks like it's on. I'm smelling something burning. Travis, why don't you think of a dwarven ale name? And then I'll be right back. Give me 2 seconds. Well, it doesn't look done, but it's burning. Like we're smoke filling the house right now.
Okay, sorry.
All right, sorry. My wife was baking something, and the interior like oozed out. Like it's not done cooking, but the interior oozed out and was burning. So
I'll do.
yeah, that'll do.
I
That's
came
what-
up with Pillsmeyer's beard sweat.
Pillsmeyer's what?
Beard sweat.
It is. All right. Beard sweat. Cool. Yeah, so she hands you two like big frothing wooden pints, puts it down, and that'll be that'll be 8 copper, please.
I am going to put 2 gold coins on the table, on her tray, and say, "We're also interested in a little bit of information. Is Martin Harry about?"
Oh, Sir Henri. Yes. He is. Yeah, and she points over to the side, and you see there's like a booth there, and there's a. I think. What do I want him? There's actually like a. What race do I want him to be? We're gonna go with a Goliath, but you're like skinny Goliath, kind of sitting back there with like a big cup of ale that's like foaming up. He's also has like this little like glass filled with like a green liquid in there, and there's like a couple of girls like kind of sitting by him, like kind of talking and flirting and trying to get him to, you know, commit to more than just sitting there and drinking and staring at the moment. She goes, that's him right there, that large Goliath over there. Which, if you know Goliath, he isn't that large, but to this girl, she doesn't really know him. So
Still bigger than your average person.
yeah, definitely taller than most humans would be. Probably at least twice Hrothgar's height.
Thank you very much, Sweetel. That'll be all for now. This is delightful. Thank you.
Yes, well, thank you. And she picks up the gold and like scurries away to go help tucking the gold into a like pouch somewhere upon her, like in her apron, like a little pocket she's got set in.
But before she goes away, I asked it, can I have you do one more thing for us? Can you send another or whatever Martin is drinking over to his table? Let him know it's on us.
Oh yes, the ale or the other drink?
Well, whatever Martin's having, he looks to be an ale of some sort.
Oh yes, I will. I'll get another one. Yes, no problem.
Put it on our tab.
Well, you more than paid for it here.
I'll give her another gold coin just to make sure.
Oh, you're very kind, sir. The girls are gonna love you, I'm sure. And she'll pocket it and run off to the bartender and like sit there and watch him. He like taps like there's these wooden barrel kegs back there, and he kind of like turns the handle, starts pouring out into his wooden cup, and he hands it over to her. She scurries over and puts it down and gestures towards you two, telling him.
Raise our drinks to him, and so
He looks a little puzzled, but we'll scoop it up and then like just chug the fresh one down completely.
I'll turn to Zira. So, what do you think the play is? Figured we'd soften him up a little bit, then go over and see how amenable he is to a conversation.
Yes, if he doesn't approach us first, then maybe we should go to him.
Sounds like a plan. I'm going to, probably just wait it out while we finish our drinks and see what he does.
He lets it go like a couple minutes, and then he like leans over and whispers to one of the girls at his side and like kind of shoves her out of the little booth that he's sitting in, and she like stumbles and then scurries over. Sir Henri would love to speak to you, gentlemen. He's curious about why you bought him the drink, and of course is willing to take whatever pleas or petitions you have, if you'd like to join him, that is.
It would be an honor to sit down and shoot the breeze with him.
Yes.
And she kind of like does a little curtsy and then will scurry off away from there. And if you guys start approaching, he'll shove the other girl out. She'll kind of go off and kind of find some other patron to flirt with for a little bit.
Yeah, I think we'll make our way over there, try to sit down and strike up a conversation.
Yeah, there's definitely room there that's kind of been made for you as him pushing these girls away. So there's room, and he looks at you guys and goes, "I don't think I recognize you. What brings you around here?"
Well, no, it's not. It's not uncalled for that you don't recognize. I just stepped on island this morning myself. It is our understanding that you handle or the schedule of a certain person we'd like to get in contact with. Count Jourdain Varys. Is our information correct?
And his eyes narrow and goes, "Well, yes, I am his right-hand man, his aide. What is it you need?"
Well, we are in need of speaking to him it's a business matter, really. Some merchandise that came through his enterprise came afoul of our employers. We are not seeking any damages, of course, but we merely want to understand what happened. And it's all very technical, but if we could have a moment of his time, it would be very beneficial to us.
He's very busy, but I'm sure I could help you.
Well, if you are, as they say, he's so my telepathy with him is like I think 100 feet.
Yeah.
So if am I hearing him? He's like kind of flying over.
Yeah, he
to report.
Yeah, so your familiar like flies over. He was able to kind of keep track of where you're going.
Yeah.
He flies over, and you get this image of a one of the thugs that had gone in to check on Marley running out of the building and like running into the city proper.
All right. I will give him basically the telepathic command. Good job. Do me a favor and find out where he's going, and come back to me when you know.
You get a quick image of basically him flying away, and you can see like the guy in his image and him kind of like getting this spot where he's hovering and flying around over to the rooftops.
My king mind is able to do all to segment itself to compartmentalize this as I continue this conversation. I think I'm gonna just lay it out for him and kind of see the reaction I get.
Okay.
What was the sword maker's the guild's name?
Well Blades, yeah.
Well Blades.
Yeah.
Well, you see, it's our understanding that your employer came into possession of a large shipment of merchandise from Wellblades, and somehow some of that merchandise ended up on Valermont in the hands of a band of hobgoblins who, frankly, were up to no good, and I'd like to know why.
Well, that is an interesting thing you say. How did you come about this information that Count Varus would have any dealings with hobgoblins?
No, I never said that he directly did, but I'm saying that swords that were supposed to be in his possession ended up in the hobgoblin's hands. If it's a simple matter of a raid and a theft, then perhaps that'll be enough to let my employer wash their hands of the matter. But if he is supplying them for some reason, well, that's very interesting now, don't you think?
That would be interesting, but I can't see Varus dealing with such things. Are you looking to aid in any endeavors on Valermont to deal with those terrible foes who have so wrongly bothered our nation, especially recently with that attack upon our own soil?
You are definitely in possession of a keen mind to have read the underlying subtext of this conversation. Yes, we are definitely interested in furthering the cause. I bluff.
Well, what do you have to offer? Zero would notice that there's like a satchel. It's kind of like down, like by his feet, but it's like leaning up against the little like stool or the booth that they're in. You guys are all sharing. It's like one of those round booths, so like everything's curved and it has like a good view of like most of the bar.
Remind me, our organization, is it a more of a neutral organization that's trying to maintain the peace kind of throughout, or do we have kind of definite sides in this?
Yeah, you're definitely more aligned to the Valermont side.
Okay.
You're employed. You're basically like their secret service or their.
Okay.
You know, like
so yeah, gotcha.
Especially back when Secret Service also, did a lot more like investigation, like peacekeeping things, Treasury Department type stuff. Yeah, so that's kind of what you guys are doing. Yeah. So it wouldn't be necessarily that you would want to openly admit that to people unless you had some play on that. All things are open.
Yeah, so for now, I'll stick to the ruse that we want to join his cause.
Okay.
See where that gets us.
Air out that stupid smoke smell. Yeah, if you guys look like you're capable of handling yourselves, I could find use for you. Of course, I can pay if that's what you guys need. We're always looking for a way to deal swiftly with our foes, and if Valermont is going to cause such a war, then we must have a response, right?
It is only natural.
Well, have you heard anything of this prison break, of where these soldiers may have gotten to?
Aye, we've heard some whispers. Is information specifically about that something you'd be interested in? Because as you can guess, we're pretty good at finding stuff out.
It definitely seems like it. Yes, we'd love information. Rumor is that the Duke has caught some of those vile criminals that broke into the prison and has them somewhere in the palace. But any more information on those that escaped their grasp would be appreciated, I'm sure. Lord Count Ferris would reward such information mightily.
Well, then it seems we can possibly have some business together. I'll leave you to your drinking, and we'll excuse ourselves for now. Unless, it looks to Zero. You have anything else?
We'll have our ears to the ground.
Well, good. And if you find anything, if I'm not here, they know how to find me. So this is a good place to, off the beaten path sort of thing.
We will look forward to some future business then.
I look forward to such things.
Yes, very much.
I'm fine with heading out. I think we at least confirmed that definitely there's some connection here. I don't know if we'll be able to pry anymore without causing too much of a scene.
Right.
So, do we actually know where those prisoners are, or who those prisoners are specifically?
Some of them, right?
Yeah. So in the last session, the last two sessions, the group kind of were able to take these prisoners. So the Desland and the ruling areas of this region had captured a Valermont ship and their sailors, which your contact Sapphire had mentioned that it would be probably good to free them, and that though they may not be able to get them off island right away, that they could definitely use the help that these merchant marines would be able to provide his resistance movement. Zero and the rest of the group were able to help free them. However, there were a few that were not present there. Out of like the 18 that would have been on the ship, they found, I think, about a dozen of them. And so this Sir Henri has mentioned that the king or the Duke has some in the palace, held prisoner there. but they're looking for the other ones, the ones that they have kind of. The Duke has claimed that these are the ones that broke into the prison and freed all these criminals, all these horrible people, and was trying to arouse the populace to aid in such a, tracking down the criminals and the, enemy forces that invaded their land.
Okay, I think we played out this sword thread as much as we can get.
Yeah, at the moment, for sure.
At this moment, but we definitely planted some seeds for later.
Mm-hmm.
As we exit, I'll kind of send my mind out. Am I getting any response from my familiar yet?
Let's see. Not right away.
Yeah, I told him to pursue it. So if he's gone far away, then it might take him a while to get back to me.
Yeah. Creon is kind of like leaning up against a railing with his back like up against the railing, and he's looking out towards where the gangplank is with the door in view, and he's kind of standing there when you guys come up on deck, and he'll push himself off and kind of walk over. How did it go?
No, we definitely found fairly solid evidence that this Duke, or whatever his name is connected to the attacks on Valermont. So we planted some seeds, maybe led him to believe that we were sympathetic to his cause. Hopefully it will bear fruit at some time, but I believe we've gone about as far as we can with this at this point. Perhaps we can try to devise a way to get our shipmates back.
Where do you say they were?
Well, it sounds like they might be in the Duke's custody.
Oh, palace, huh? I mean, there's probably ways in and out, but you'd want to take your time with that one. I wouldn't just rush in there without planning it. Sapphire would probably have some good ideas.
That's probably where we'll head back. Did we set up a rendezvous point with Sapphire? I think
he was gonna back at the warehouse, safe
the
house.
Warehouse.
Yeah. If you guys needed him, that's where he would be.
It's kind of our base of operations right now with them.
Yeah, I'm fine with heading back there unless you have something else, Zero.
Not at this time, though.
All right. Let's see. All right. As you guys are heading back towards the warehouse, let's give Rothgar, what's your passive perception?
13.
Okay, let me see. You notice at least one guy, like with his hood up, kind of obviously. Both of you would notice them, like obviously, kind of keeping an eye on you and moving closer and closer as the streets go by. You guys make a few streets, and then as you turn down like an alleyway to like make it towards where this this particular spot is, you notice that there are 3 guys standing in front of you, all wearing like different forms, like leather armor. They have blades out, and they're like blocking the path that you would take forward.
I had wondered when the welcoming crew would show up. How's it going, lads?
Well, Lord Marley was not pleased with your visit. And others are not pleased with your inquiries.
They seemed pleased enough with me gold.
Yes, well, that shouldn't make it too far now, should it? And they're going to pull out their blades and start walking towards you. So we can roll initiative.
You picked a terrible place to die.
All right, so let me get initiative track here. These guys are really...
How's my initiative on this thing?
0. Where you at?
So far I'm at a 22, but I think I get advantage for some weird reason.
Probably.
Oh, there it is. I got a straight up 17 on my initiative.
Okay. So 0, you're going to go first no matter what. And then as you're kind of like advancing, you notice that there's also 3 more guys behind you. One of the men ahead of you has a little bit nicer armor. Why is this doing this?
I think it's just 22.
Yeah, that's fine. 22 is sufficient to lead the group. All right. So 0, you get to go first. There are 3 guys advancing on you. There are 2 that just like have leather armor. They're carrying like scimitars drawn, and there's one like in the middle there that is wearing studded leather armor, and he's got a scimitar out as well. He definitely looks a little bit more talented. And there are 3 more that you kind of see filling in. There's the one hooded one that you guys have noticed, and then there's 2 more that have joined him to like block off the path behind you.
I will use my dual wielder and draw both of my short swords. And then I'm exceptionally fast on my first round of combat.
Yep.
I get 10 extra feet, so I'm going to use whatever I need to get to the closest one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll have advantage because they haven't acted yet.
Perfect. Yeah.
So 24?
Yeah. That'll hit. Are you aiming at the regular guys? Are you aiming at the...
I guess whomever was closest first, if they're in like a V formation or something like that. I would try to get 2, but to be able to try to get 2, but I'll go for 1 at least.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like... It's probably about 15 feet across, so like the 3 will take up the path, but there's the 2 like kind of regular guys, and then the captain's little back. So if you want to like walk up the middle and attack both the regular guys, you can do that.
Yeah, that's perfect. Actually, I'll even I wouldn't want to block Hrothgar just in case, so I guess I would just try and go after 1 specifically and hope the other one comes after me or something. Okay. Because I can always move after if I need to, right? I still have movement left. So yeah, I'll just go after 1 specifically and leave a gap just in case.
They kind of position themselves in a way that like they could close any distance if they needed to.
All right. That attack will be
Okay. Yeah. 5 piercing. Good. He staggers back, but he's still on his feet.
And then I have extra attack.
Yep.
That one's already 24, so I won't even worry about advantage. Well, I guess I could maybe get a crit. No, all right. And that one is 5 more piercing damage.
All right. He staggers, like almost falling to his knees, but it's like barely able to hold up. Definitely looking on the brink.
And then on my first round of combat, I can make an additional attack.
Yeah. Felicity, I think you have an offhand, right? Like,
Yeah. That one is 14 to hit.
14 will hit.
Okay. That's 9 piercing damage.
Yeah. With that, however you desire to finish off this first one.
That one will go for the neck, and then with my blade still in his neck, I'll spiral, and then come out of his neck, and then go with my offhand to attack the remaining front guy.
Okay.
Bonus attack, dual wielder. That's 24.
Jeez.
24.
Yeah.
And then six more piercing damage on that one.
Nice. Yeah. He staggers. Not looking happy. I mean, they're not. Super.
And that would be.
All right. All right. The main guy with them will step forward. You wish you hadn't done that. And he's going to pull out his. He has a scimitar in one hand already, and he's going to pull out a dagger with his other, and he's going to start swinging a scimitar. Man, I wish I could roll. 16 to hit.
If it's against me, I just went to 16 because I'm dual wielding.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, he's aiming at you because you're the closest one now. So the 16, that one hits for 8 points of slashing damage, and swings with his dagger, and that will not hit a 16. All right.
8 total.
Yeah, 8 total. He steps forward and is able to slash you once with the scimitar, but the other 2 swings go a little wild. Kind of still trying to gauge your skills. I need to roll for Creon because he is here. Okay. So that's perfect. We'll go here. Hrothgar.
All right. Well, Hrothgar will part of his movement as he maneuvers up closer to 0. Slip down his shield, tighten it on his arm, grip his component pouch around his neck, specifically a straight piece of iron that's in there. And we'll say an incantation and move it in a runic fashion. Aradun, and target the. There was one that had like nicer armor that has the scimitar and the dagger that's right in front of.
Yeah. There's definitely one that seems to be like their captain, and the other.
Yeah, so I'm obviously casting a spell. If any of them are trying to counter it, they seem more of the melee type to me.
Yeah, they don't seem to be able to do anything.
So the captain will need to make a wisdom save, DC 14.
All right, yeah, wisdom. Oh, yeah, that would be a 19.
Yeah, all right. Well, he shrugged it off. Yeah, you must be made of tougher stuff than you look. Pansy ass. So yeah, I'll just come up and taunt him, and I'll be basically, like next to 0 now, just making a front there.
So behind you, Creon will turn and face the 3 guys behind and step up, and with his spear, he'll reach out and like kind of lunge forward and take a stab of the guy about 10 feet away from him. So let's see, he's going to stab twice with his spear. Let's see. Plus, so it's he stabs one guy twice. Let's see if I even need to do twice. Yep, because that's a bad roll. And like the second stab skewers his neck, and that one goes limp. However, like even as he falls, another one steps around the corner, like having apparently hung back, waiting for an opening, and has a like crossbow pulled out, and he's gonna loose at Creon. as will his two buddies. So we've got let's get good armor plus. But Creon will take a hit, and as he takes a hit, he's going to. You see like a flash of like almost if you look back at all, probably more Rothgar because Zero's engaged. There's like a flash of light, and like it seems like the blow did not quite hit. Like the arrow was gonna hit, and then all of a sudden it like scoots off to the side and glances off his armor. He takes a couple of like stabs from the other two bandits that are there. So now we've got one that's up on Zero, who's going to try to stab you. 18, so that's like a 22. So that'll hit with his scimitar.
Was that against Rothgar?
No, that was against Zero.
Oh, okay, against Zero. Okay.
Yeah, because they're engaged directly with him at this point. So 4 points of damage, Zero, from that guy. And that's where we're at right now, which puts us back to 0 at the top.
Well, let's dance. Oh, man. That one, first attack is a 10.
No, that one, yeah. That one.
Extra attack?
Yep.
20, dirty 20.
Yeah, that'll do.
For 9 piercing? Or, no, wait, let me double check. Yes, 9 piercing.
Okay. He will stumble to the ground, dead. So it's just the captain now in front of you guys, and there are 3 bandits that are facing Creon behind.
How far is the captain?
He stepped up to attack you, so you're currently engaged.
Okay, then I'll bonus attack him with my offhand for 16.
Okay. 16 will hit.
For 8 piercing damage on him.
All right. He staggers a little, but still looks pretty healthy. Hrothgar. Oh wait, no, sorry. The captain gets to go. So the captain is going to turn to 0 because it's the only one engaged with right now, and he's going to make his attacks. 2 slices with a scimitar. That will be 2 hits. Like a 20 something and a what's up plus 5? Yeah, 21 and a 23. So we have 2 scimitar slashes. 4, 2, 7 plus 5. So 12 points of slashing damage. And then he is going to swing.
That's both of them. That's the total.
For the 2 scimitar, then his dagger misses you. So he slashes twice with his sword and then comes at you with a stab with the dagger, which you're able to dodge back from. You will rue this day. Now, Hrothgar, you get to go.
At least we'll live to rue it. Yeah, not. I will engage with the captain and try to grab him.
Okay.
With a shocking grasp. And I rolled very poorly, 11 versus AC.
Yeah, unfortunately not.
No, that won't do it. You're slippery.
Yes, I'm better than you. Creon's on the other side. Swings.
You can't extra attack it?
Oh, that was a spell, so that's a full action. He's a.
Oh, okay. I thought he was grappling.
Yeah, he grabbed him and did a shocking grasp.
Oh, I see. Sorry.
He's a mix of things. So yeah, Creon is swinging at these 2, but is unable to like knock them down. They maintain their position. So we got 3 on Creon. 1 will hit. No, wait. What are they? Plus, yeah, 1 will hit, and he staggers a little bit, but not. Doesn't seem like he's too hurt there. And Those are the regular bandits, and then the captain. No, 0 before the captain.
Order again?
Yeah, you're at top. I'm gonna paste it in chat so that you guys can help keep me honest.
Cool. And do this thing. Oh, stay on the desk. Oh, I missed with the first one. And then goes 10.
10?
Second one, yeah. 17.
17 will hit, yeah.
For 7 piercing.
7 piercing. Perfect.
And then bonus attack for 13.
13 will miss.
And then as a free action, I'll spit some of the blood that's in my mouth in his face.
All right. It's like splatters across his face, and he kind of just like cracks his neck and comes in with his blades swinging. Ooh. Yeah. He misses twice with his scimitar this time, and then goes in with his dagger. Jeez, those are really low rolls. You're able to like dodge and parry easily this time. Perhaps the blood on his face kind of like distracting him, some getting in his eye and causing him to swing wildly. Hrothgar.
All right, let's try this again. You do it, and we'll do it right this time. He grabs the metal rod and says, Karaktun, and let's do another wisdom save from the captain.
Okay, let's see. That's a natural 20.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, it's not gonna happen here. So I am actually going to just push away from not disengage, but disengage from the captain. Taunt him to try to hit me, and I'm going to go and shoulder up to Creon, give him a hand with the bandits.
All right, so the captain will swing, but unless you have like a 9 armor, you get away.
Yeah. AC's 20, so.
Oh yeah, you're good then. Yeah, he swings and it like clanks off one of your like rear armor pieces, or probably even like the sword that's hanging off your back.
Yeah, I forget, what am I wearing? I think I'm wearing splint with a shield. Yeah, I think that's what it is. So yeah, it's pretty beefy. All right, yeah. So I go up to try to take some of the heat off of Creon.
Okay.
From the bandits.
Creon's going to swing at the bandits. This time he's going to land twice, dropping one of them. So now there's just 2 of them over there. They'll like look over at you and nod, like thank you. And the bandits are going to go. So they're now going to kind of sidle up, one on you, one on him. One crits you, Hrothgar. It's a natural 20.
I will, although it'll still be a hit, I will use my reaction to cast shield.
Okay.
So that it charges my abjuration health bubble as well.
Okay.
So it gives me an AC 25. Crit still hits, but I just want to.
All right. So let's see. So that's 9 points of slashing damage. And actually, as it comes in and is landing, kind of feel this force around you, shove the blade a little bit, and lessens the impact. So you only take 6 points of slashing damage.
Oh, okay.
It's like Creon like looks over and then turns back to the guy who's attacking him.
That was actually the exact amount of my abjuration shield.
And he's able to deflect the sword off his shield as it comes in.
They make a good team there, Creon.
Glad to have the help. Well, 0, you can make up for it now and maybe crit and get a whole bunch of damage.
Is it on me again?
Yep.
All right, I'll try to remember this time. All right, first attack. Ooh, dirty 20.
All right, that'll hit. Yeah.
So that and this time. So 12 piercing damage.
Okay.
Now extra attack for 19. And that'll be 15 more piercing damage.
Jeez, now you're making work. All right.
And then bonus attack for 15.
15 to hit or 15?
15 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit. Just
12 more piercing damage.
good lord. Yeah. He went from looking pretty confident to all of a sudden he's like staggering, bleeding from multiple places. The captain does not look happy, but he's going to glare at you, knowing that his best chance now is just to try to finish you off and swing wildly at you. We've got a 18 and a 17 to hit.
Yep and yep.
Let's see, his dagger will miss though, but we got 2 scimitars coming in for 9 and 4 points of damage, so 13 points of slashing damage.
Drop to one knee.
Oh. All right, Hrothgar. We have 2 bandits in front of you guys.
All right. Seeing Zero take a bad hit behind me, I keep my my shield in front of me to taunt the bandits to try to get through my defenses. But I am going to grab my component pouch, find a small clay miniature in there, and scream out the incantation for Maximilian's Earthen Grasp.
Okay.
I assume that they're within 30 feet of me behind me.
Yeah.
So the captain's going to have to make a strength save as a strong dwarven hand of dirt bursts out of the ground to try to grab him.
This one he does not succeed in.
Okay. Then he immediately takes 2d6 bludgeoning damage, which I rolled a 1 and a 2. So he takes 3 bludgeoning damage from that, but he is also now restrained.
Okay.
To break out, he could use an action to make a strength check against my spell DC again to break out of it. It's concentration, so I could keep it up for a minute, and every turn I could squeeze him again if he doesn't break out.
Okay.
And of course, being restrained, he can't move, and he gives advantage to anyone who tries to attack him.
Perfect. All right. Creon is going to look at the two bandits there and glance back over at the captain and glance at Zero, and he's going to kind of turn and charge towards the captain. The 2 bandits will swing at him, both missing, luckily. And Creon's going to take 2 stabs at the captain and try to finish him off with advantage. There's 1 hit. There's 2 hits. And yeah, that'll do. He runs up and just skewers the captain, like slams his spear right through the breast area in his studded leather, and like it comes out the other side. He yanks back, twirling his spear, and turns like standing in front of Zero between like the bandits and Zero. Unfortunately, he left Hrothgar with 2 bandits on him, but seeing 1 man down, he couldn't leave him.
The captain would have slumped to the ground, but the earthen hand is keeping its macabre form standing like a meat puppet.
Yeah, there's just like this big dwarven hand like holding on to this dead, slumped body.
Looks like one of those creepy hand chairs.
That's gnarly. The 2 bandits take swings at Hrothgar, but are unable to hit. But they're going to then look, and they see that their friends are mostly gone, and they glance at each other, and then they turn and run.
You better run.
Attack of opportunity.
Oh yeah, I get one swing. Oh wait, I didn't. Yeah, do you know I could punch him?
Yeah.
I'm still pretty strong. I'm just gonna punch him because I don't have my hammer in my hand.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna make an unarmed strike.
Might as well.
Ah, no, I fumbled that. 8.
Okay. No, 8 won't do. So yeah, they take off going 30 feet away because they did attack, so it's not like a full-on sprint. Zero, do you want to do anything?
I'll get to both of his feet and look over at my companion who may have saved my life, and I owe you one. And then start to try to chase after them. And I think I can interact. Hang on, baby. I think I can interact with my sword and a dagger in the same turn because of my feet. And then, so I'll put a sword away and then try to throw a dagger.
Cool. Go for it.
For 19?
Yeah, that'll hit.
Is he wounded yet?
No.
Okay.
We actually have been able to dodge all hits.
5 piercing then.
All right. Cool. He staggers a little as this dagger like sticks out of his back, but he still tries to continue. Hrothgar, you would be up.
All right. I am at the so both of them are pretty much fresh, right?
Yeah, one is perfectly fresh. The other one has taken the 5 points of damage.
All right. I'm going to send 2 magic missiles into the one that took damage.
Okay.
So he'll take 6 points of force damage, and then the fresh one is going to take 5 points of force damage.
All right. So the one that was injured is going to stumble to the ground.
Hey.
Your forts, however you want to finish him off.
Yeah, my magic missiles look like little anvils that fly through the air.
Nice.
Just pound him right in the head, knocks him out.
He stumbles, falling to the ground. And then the other one, Creon, will like shift his spear into a shield hand and pull out like a javelin and chuck it at this guy. Actually, that's enough to hit him. And drops him, like the javelin just like hitting him like, let's see, you hit him with a hammer. Like he staggered with the hammer and kind of twisted to look back, and as he looked back, the javelin like slams into his chest and he like slumps back against the wall of the alleyway, and it is now clear of these brigands.
We'll search their pockets, see if they had any.
Anything.
Searching through. Yeah, I mean, they have daggers and basic gear, but searching through them, you find. Let's see.
I'm more looking for like any kind of like documentation they might have on them, if they have any anything that might incriminate or give us some leverage against what's his face.
Yeah, so you'll find on them like combined about 76 gold pieces, and then there'll be like a note that says, Brennan, these creatures have come into my office and threatened me. Deal with them. Try to keep it quiet. And then that's it.
I'll split up the gold. Like, yeah, this pays for all the bribes that I've been doing today. At least we know. Well, this proves that the sentiment not does us much good. I don't think this changes our plans much right now. At this point, let's head back to the warehouse and looks like Yuki is a short rest there, Zero.
At least.
Yes, not feeling too well at the moment, but I'm feeling better than he is.
I ain't gonna be feeling nothing ever again.
We tried to warn them.
We was very upfront with them.
That was very gentlemanly of you guys, actually. Creon will say, like walking by, and he'll, if you guys held out any gold for him, he'll just kind of like gesture for you to keep it. And
Let's suit yourself.
But I owe you a drink nonetheless, at the least.
Well, the drink I'll take.
I look forward to it. This evening, perhaps.
Sounds good. Let's go take a little bit of a rest. I could use a bit of a relaxation. So you'll help lead you guys back to the warehouse that you guys reach with no more issues. And is there anything you guys desire to accomplish once there?
I think the main thing I wanted to do is seek out Sapphire and start planning our prison break.
Okay.
Got to get our shipmates back.
Yeah. So Sapphire's there working, and you see like Salnitro's working on some gadget or something with the help of your other two compatriots. And Sapphire is looking over at them and then goes back to his paperwork a little bit, then glances up and says, "Oh, guys made it back. Good. How did it go?"
Well, it was interesting, at least. Definitely made some connections that confirmed what we already feared, that they're planning some maneuvers against Valermont, but definitely ruffled some feathers, had to spill some blood. It was weak blood, I can guarantee you that. But how is the constabulary of this town? How afraid do we need to be leaving a few bodies in the street?
Oh, close by. I will take care of it.
Fairly close.
If you didn't make too much noise, then it'll take them a little bit of time before they get to that point.
It was done very quickly.
Good. Creon, can you lead a couple guys and they'll take care of them? And he nods and turns and leads off, three of Sapphire's men. They disappear for a little while. Well, you guys look like you could use a rest. Maybe take a break. We'll get some food and I'll finish up our work, and perhaps when you guys are feeling a little bit better, we can talk some more.
Sounds perfectly good to me. Yeah, so I'll take a short rest to regain some of my spell slots. Didn't take any real damage, so that's good for me.
Yeah. That makes one of you.
Yeah, Sarah's going to use some dice. How late are we planning on going tonight?
I was gonna end it right here. I figured.
Okay, that seemed like a pretty nice little button on the episode. Yeah,
I figured that was a good spot to stop. So thank you two for joining me. Sorry, everyone, if anyone tuned in here expecting the heist, which I was planning, but I lost the person who the heist was really tethered towards due to internet and but it was fun. It was nice to get some more role play, some investigation done, and a little bit of combat there.
Next time heist.
Yeah. This is pre-heist or whatever. But yeah, thanks for joining us, everyone. This is newly minted, Heroically Inclined. If anyone watches, and have a good night, guys.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
It's good times.